Hey guys, and welcome back to the weekly market breakdowns. This week we're already in week 31, and let's start off with Euro NZD on the weekly. Firstly, let's recap what happened last week on this pair. Last week in my video analysis, I said that there was a key level break and a retest happened right away that week. It happened unfortunately at market open, so I personally wasn't able to catch it, and that did a good 300 pips up. This week we can see a very similar scenario. Another key level, defined as by this red line, has been broken. I'm anticipating a retest of it. Unfortunately, this week there is no EMAs on the weekly that are there to help us out, but this is also a key level on the daily, as you can see here, with many good solid hits around. Again, using 0.01's position sizes as example, showing the multi-time frame analysis that I do go through. So here, as you can see, I am willing to place a buy at the 1.765 area. That is a nice round number, and a weekly and a daily key level. Unfortunately, here also I'll most likely be placing it with a 50 pip sell. I might have to amend that to around about 80 pips. Then for the daily, what else we have here? I see there is also another trend line that can be taken using these two highs. I will only be using this trend line after today's daily candle closure, as long as it does not make a new high, which to me then confirms that this is a higher high that has been made. I'm anticipating this break and retest to happen in the first half of the week. So I'm anticipating this daily candle closure to either already hit this buy limit, or we hit it tomorrow. Further on the daily, there is not much else, as we are also coming close to the next key level above. There I could also have a possible sell. Let's see what this pair looks like on the 4 hour. Here, as we can see, a third touch is possible here. I'll quickly mark it out as a purple box. Possible third touch can be taken here, which then is and lines up together with this third touch on the daily. These are exactly the same third touches. Then this is the buy. Also on the 4 hour, it is a very good key level. As we can see on the 4 hour, it got tested right away. It got broken and tested right away, and now we're seeing more of a gradual retest of it. I'm hoping that this 50 EMA on the 4 hour also lines up in that general area, giving us a strong 2 confluence trade. Moving on to NZD USD on the weekly. Small recap here again. What happened last week was this trend line did 3 touches, and right away on the third touch did a 100 pip move down. Unfortunately, I missed that sell by 0.04 pips, I think it was, also because of spread, as I placed my position just slightly above the 0.67 area, and that unfortunately missed in the beginning of the week, as I was hoping for that trade to actually wick past the trend line and hit the 200 EMA. But no worries, there still is a good sell opportunity, same one from last week on the weekly. Here, this is a key level marked by the red line again. There was a very solid candle break of it here, as you can see, 2 weeks ago. Now this week I'm hoping for a retest of that area. Let's see what this exact trade looks like on the daily. Here, as you can see on the daily, there's also a very strong key level that has been broken and not yet retested. So this to me means that the key level still has to be retested on the weekly time frame and the daily, meaning that there will be a strong rejection to the upside once it does reach that key level. and hoping for a good risk to reward ratio. At the moment I just have it set simply to a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, but I'll most probably be amending it to a 30 pip SL, as usually NZD USD yet again does not move much. Here what could be possible as well on the daily here, we can see a third touch and a key level lining up, the exact same key level. Here this could happen on the 10th, which is already actually next week Monday, so that is a watch list trade for next week. But there is another possible trade here after the retest of this key level and move to the upside. We could see a third touch in this area with this key level as used as a second confluence, and the 50 MA on the daily. Here there is nothing else that I can explicitly see on the daily, so let's move on to the 4-hour. Here last week, unfortunately due to USD weakness last week, we could not see a proper move down after this at the break of this trend line. There was a sell position at around about this area, which would have been a retest of the trend line and a retest of the 50 EMA, hopefully for a move down. But unfortunately USD was simply not strong enough and did not manage to move this pair far down enough. Here, as we can see, what just happened was again a retest, a break of the 50, and now a retest of the 50. So I'm hoping that this retest of the 50 finally gives us that move to the downside towards our buy position that we need. Then moving on to Euro odd on the weekly. Here, as we can see, there still is from last week's video the sell on the weekly with the key level and the 38 fib, which will be a very strong sell, and I'll be definitely swinging that one for at least a couple weeks, all the way back down to the downside, at least till this next key level, which will be around about 250 pip TP. For as this is a weekly, I'll be setting amending it to a around about 50 to 80 pip SL, depending on what price looks like once we get closer to it. As right now we still are quite a bit away. We're still 270 pips away. Further moving on to the daily here, this pending still holds from last week. This is a retest, or hopefully we can see a retest of this key level that was at a massive candle break, and no wick retest of that area yet, so I'll be keeping this buy there. Right now, as we can see, the 200 and the 100 EMA and this key level are keeping price below this area, not letting it move up. This actually was also a trade that I gave out on the watch list last week, this being this so right here on the key level plus the 50 key level plus the 100 and the 200 EMA on the daily, which did a easy 80 pips to the downside. Then on the daily, as you can see here, as this key level has not been breached, another trade cannot be taken as there have already been 3 touches on it. What could be possible is we could see a solid break of this key level on the daily chart, for example. I'll definitely be taking a retest of it, but that's about all I can see on the daily as of now. Then moving on to the 4-hour here, we can see that price is starting to unfortunately rage again, starting from the 30th last week, and for around about the past 11 to 12 candles it's been more or less in a range. Hopefully we can see this range being broken to either the upside or the downside, as now here we have had a trend line that did 3 touches here, which happened today in the morning, and this trend line that has done 3 touches. So I will be willing to take a break and retest of either of these trend lines to either the upside, so a buy as a break and retest of this trend line to the upside, or a sell as a break and retest of this trend line to the downside. These are, however, quite risky positions as they are wrong confluence trades, and I'll be taking them with lowered risk definitely. Here, what we can see is also a possible trade that I'll be willing to take is this area around about here, really close to 1.66 round number. This trade being a, let me actually move it down. This trade being a key level plus a negative 27 fib. I'll be hoping for a strong move to the downside at this area, as it should reject the 1.66. This, as you can see on the weekly, also lines up with a 28 EMA, which should give us enough volume and orders on a multi-time frame analysis with multi-confluences to have price move towards the downside. That's about it. That's all I see for this week. Hopefully price can still develop, as we are only in the first week of August and this is a new week of the month, so price can still make some higher highs and lower highs for new possible third touches, but I'll keep you guys updated with all of that. Osiris out.